Look up. To search for information in a text or reference book. Synonym for. Look up. Research, search, consult, investigate, examine, explore. If you're lost in a new city, you can look up directions on your smartphone's map application. Students often look up unfamiliar words in the dictionary to understand their meanings. If you don't know the word, you can look it up in the dictionary. Read through. To peruse or go through a text from beginning to end. Synonym for. Read through. Peruse, scan, review, study, go over, examine. The editor needs to read through the manuscript to ensure it meets the publication standards. Make sure to read through the instructions before starting the assignment. Before submitting the report, it's essential to read through it carefully to check for any errors. Pick out. To choose or identify specific information from a text. Synonym for. Pick out. Select, choose, identify, extract, single out, pinpoint. Can you pick out the main points from the article? From the dense article, I managed to pick out the key arguments presented by the author. It can be challenging to pick out relevant information from a lengthy research paper. Make out. To understand or discern the meaning of a text, especially if it's difficult. Synonym for. Make out. Discern, understand, comprehend, interpret, grasp, decipher. Despite the complex terminology, I could make out the main thesis of the scientific paper. The handwriting was so messy, it was hard to make out what was written. With some effort, I was able to make out the meaning of the poem, even though it was written in an old dialect. Jot down. To quickly write or note something from a text. Synonym for. Jot down. Note, write down, record, scribble, document, log. As the lecturer spoke, I quickly jotted down the main points of the presentation. Jot down the key ideas as you read the article. Before I forget, let me jot down the author's name of that book you recommended. Bring up. To mention or refer to a specific point or topic in a text. Synonym for. Bring up. Mention, raise, introduce, broach, cite, refer to. The speaker brought up an interesting point during the discussion that sparked further debate. In the meeting, I plan to bring up the issue of budget allocation for our department. The author brings up an interesting argument in the last chapter. Refer back to. To go back and check a previous part of a text for information. Synonym for. Refer back to. Consult, return to, go back to, revisit, review, check. The lecturer encouraged us to refer back to the textbook for additional examples and explanations. While writing the report, I needed to refer back to the earlier chapters for context. If you forget a term, you can refer back to the glossary at the end. Sum up. To provide a concise summary or overview of a text. Synonym for. Sum up. Recap, recapitulate, synopsize, outline, conclude, recapitulate. Can you sum up the key findings of the research paper in a few sentences? Let me sum up the main points of the chapter for you. Can you sum up the main points of the chapter? Skim through. To quickly glance over a text to get a general idea. Synonym for. Skim through. Scan, glance through, flip through, browse, run through, speed read. I don't have much time, so I'll just skim through the report to get an idea of its contents. Skim through the article before the meeting so you're familiar with the content. She skimmed through the textbook before the exam to refresh her memory. Leaf through. To casually flip through the pages of a book or document. Synonym for. Leaf through. Browse, flip through, thumb through, skim through, scan, peruse. While waiting for her appointment, she leisurely leafed through the magazine in the waiting room. He liked to leaf through old photo albums to reminisce about his childhood. She was leafing through the magazine while waiting for her appointment. Dive into. To start reading a text enthusiastically and with great interest. Synonym for. Dive into. Immerse in, engage in, plunge into, submerge in, delve into, explore. After receiving the book as a gift, she couldn't wait to dive into the story. As soon as the latest issue arrived, he eagerly dove into the articles. I can't wait to dive into the new novel I just bought. Cite from. To quote or mention specific passages from a text. Synonym for. Cite from. Quote from, reference from, extract from, mention from, allude to, refer from. The historian cited from primary sources to provide evidence for her thesis. In her essay, she cited from several scholarly articles to support her argument. The researcher cited from various studies to support their argument. Zero in on. To focus or concentrate on a specific part or detail of a text. Synonym for. Zero in on. Focus on, concentrate on, home in on, zoom in on, fixate on, target on. Let's zero in on the second paragraph, where the author presents their main argument. The detective zeroed in on the suspect's alibi, finding inconsistencies in their story. The detective zeroed in on the crucial paragraph in the witness's statement. Cross-reference. To check information by consulting other parts of a text or different sources. Synonym for. Cross-reference. Check against, verify with, compare with, consult, look up, confirm with. When writing his thesis, he cross-referenced multiple sources to ensure the accuracy of his citations. The journalist cross-referenced information from various interviews to verify the facts. Cross-reference the index to find related topics in the book. Go over. To review or examine a text carefully. Synonym for. Go over. Review, examine, study, analyze, check, revise. The teacher went over the homework assignment to clarify any misunderstandings. Before the exam, it's essential to go over the key concepts in the textbook. Before submitting the report, make sure to go over it carefully for any errors. Dig into. To explore or investigate deeply into the details of a text. Synonym for dig into. Delve into, investigate, explore, probe into, examine, research. The researcher dug into the archives to find historical documents relevant to her study. He decided to dig into the footnotes for additional insights into the author's arguments. The scholar spent months digging into ancient manuscripts for their research. Put down. To stop reading a text temporarily. Synonym for put down. Bookmark, set aside, pause reading, stop reading, lay down, take a break. He put down the textbook and took a break after studying for hours. I had to put down the novel because of other commitments, but I'll finish it later. She put down the novel halfway through because she couldn't get into the story. Thumb through. To casually flip through the pages of a book or document using your thumb. Synonym for thumb through. Flip through, leaf through, skim through, browse, scan, glance through. He thumbed through the magazine while waiting for the bus. She thumbed through the manual to find the troubleshooting section. While waiting for the bus, he casually thumbed through the pages of the magazine. Gloss over. To quickly go through a text without paying much attention to the details. Synonym for gloss over. Skim over, scan, speed read, skip through, brush over, pass over. Due to time constraints, she had to gloss over the last few pages of the report. The manager tended to gloss over the company's financial difficulties during team meetings. Instead of addressing the issue directly, he chose to gloss over it and change the subject. Pick up. To resume reading a text from where you left off. Synonym for pick up. Continue reading, resume reading, carry on, start again, rejoin, proceed. He picked up the magazine from the coffee table and flipped to his favorite section. I'll pick up the novel again after I finish my work. After dinner, she picked up the novel and continued reading where she left off. Level up your English. Master vocabulary, idioms, and phrasal verbs with fun quizzes. Translate meanings into 104 languages. Download now. Link in the description. Please like and subscribe to our channel.